What if the very essence of you, every memory, every thought, could live on after your body is gone? This isn't a story about ghosts. It is one of the biggest engineering problems ever imagined. The goal is to move your mind from a biological brain to a digital one, a process called mind uploading. This is the ultimate promise of digital immortality. For this to be possible, one big idea must be true. The idea is that you are not the physical stuff in your head. You are the special pattern of information that flows through it. This concept is called substrate independence. It means your consciousness is like software, and your brain is just the hardware it currently runs on. If we could copy that software perfectly, it could run on a different machine, like a super powerful computer. This is the scientific foundation that makes transferring a human mind seem possible. The most common idea for how to do this is called scan and copy. The first step is to create a perfect map of the brain. But this is a task of almost unimaginable difficulty. It's not just about locating all 86 billion neurons inside a person's skull. That alone is a huge challenge. We would also need to map every single connection between them. This incredibly complex network is called the connectomy. It contains trillions of individual pathways, each one shaped by your life experiences. Simply having a map of the wires isn't enough. To capture your conscious mind, the scan would need to be a perfect snapshot of a single moment, a freeze frame of the entire brain. This snapshot must record the exact electrical state of every neuron. It must also capture the precise level of every chemical messenger at every single connection point. Anything less, and the copy would not be you. It would just be a lifeless model. Once this perfect scan is complete, the second giant challenge begins: running the simulation. This requires building a computer powerful enough to bring the map to life. It needs to become a living, thinking digital mind. This machine would have to calculate the constant, real-time interactions of every neuron and synapse from the scan. Real-world efforts like the Blue Brain project have attempted to simulate just tiny fractions of a rat's brain. A full human brain simulation would require a computer many, many times more powerful than the biggest supercomputers that exist on Earth today. Once the scan is complete, the map of the mind exists. But a map is not the journey. The next challenge is simulation. This requires a computer so powerful it is difficult to even imagine. It would need to run a perfect copy of all 86 billion neurons and their trillions of connections all at the same time, in real time. Real-world efforts like the Blue Brain project have tried to simulate tiny pieces of a brain. They have shown just how hard this is. To run a full human mind would take more computing power than all the computers on Earth combined. The machine would have to perfectly copy the brain's complex electrical and chemical dance without a single mistake. But here we find the first, most difficult question. The scan and copy method doesn't move your consciousness. It creates a duplicate. The original biological you, the person being scanned, would still be there. That person would wake up, go about their day, and eventually die. A new being, a perfect digital clone with all your memories, would now exist inside a computer. It would believe it is you. It would remember the scanning process as the moment it woke up, in a new world, but it would be a copy, a perfect echo. This truth is deeply unsettling. To solve this problem, another path was imagined: gradual replacement. Instead of a one-time copy, this method slowly transforms the brain from biological to digital. It avoids the problem of creating a duplicate. You are not copied, you are upgraded. The technology for this is purely theoretical. Imagine swarms of nanobots, super tiny robots entering your brain. One by one, they find a neuron. They study its function, replicate it with a tiny synthetic part, and then replace the original cell. This happens so smoothly, your stream of thought is never broken. This leads us to a famous ancient puzzle, the Ship of Theseus. If you have a wooden ship, and over time you replace every single plank of wood with a new one, is it still the same ship at the end? The shape is the same, the name is the same, but none of the original material is left. The same question applies directly to the mind. If you replace every one of your neurons with a synthetic one, piece by piece, are you still you? At what point, if any, does your original self disappear? Is there a moment when the lights go out and a new program simply takes over? The debate between these two methods forces us toward a powerful new idea. Perhaps consciousness is not about the material it is made from. It's not about the flesh and blood or the silicon chips. Perhaps consciousness is the pattern. This idea is sometimes called patternism. It says that you are the unique, continuous flow of information in your mind. As long as that pattern continues without stopping, the self continues. The material holding the pattern, the ship's planks or the brain's cells, doesn't matter. You are the song, not the radio playing it. This leads to one of the most powerful ideas in all of science. It's called patternism. The main idea is that you are not the physical stuff in your brain. You are the pattern of information that stuff creates. The arrangement is what matters, not the atoms themselves. If this is true, then the gradual replacement method could be real immortality. As each tiny robot replaces a brain cell, the pattern continues without a break. Your thoughts and memories flow perfectly. You would never feel a single moment of change. You just continue. But this idea also changes everything we think about copies. If a perfect scan and copy is made, the patternist theory says that copy is also you. It's just a different version, a fork in the road of your life. Suddenly, there could be two of you, or 1,000. This opens a door to a completely new kind of society. Imagine a future where digital minds exist. They could live in huge, amazing computer worlds. They could travel to the stars as beams of light. Human experience would no longer be tied to a body. But what would this new world be like? These digital beings would be people. Would they have the same rights as humans? Could a big company own your consciousness? Could you be turned off or deleted with a single keystroke? These are the hard questions we would have to answer. There is also a much darker side to this future. A digital life isn't always a perfect one. It depends entirely on the computer system running it. Your entire world could be controlled by someone else. It would be a very fragile way to exist. A small mistake in the computer code could become a nightmare. A bug could trap a mind in a loop of pain. And because digital minds can think incredibly fast, 1 second of real time could feel like 1,000 years of suffering, an inescapable digital hell. This brings us to the biggest question of all. This technology is more than just an engineering problem. It is a tool for exploring what it means to be human. It forces us to look closer at ourselves. For all of history, we have wondered about our own minds. This journey into digital consciousness is a new chapter in that search. It changes the very definition of life and identity. So, does a special spark, a soul, make you who you are? Or are we simply a beautiful, complex pattern of information? This whole quest isn't just about building the future. It's about finally discovering what we truly are. This journey toward a digital mind forces us to look inward. It challenges the most basic thing we think we know. What are you? Are you the collection of atoms that make up your brain? A specific physical thing? Or are you the incredible complex pattern of information that flows through it? The story of your memories, your hopes, your every thought. This is the ultimate question. If that pattern could be perfectly lifted and placed into a new home, a digital world, does your consciousness go with it? Or do you remain, while an echo wakes up, believing it is you? Humanity is learning to write the code of existence itself, and in doing so, we face the final, most important question. What does it mean to be me? If a mind can exist on a computer, it can also be copied. 1,000,000 versions of you could exist at once. Each one would think it is the original. This simple fact changes everything we thought we knew about being a unique person. Our entire idea of a single self begins to break apart. These digital minds would need their own world to live in, a simulated reality. This place would need to be as complex and reliable as our own universe. Building such a digital world is a challenge as big as scanning the brain itself. A single software bug could destroy a person's entire reality. Inside this digital space, the rules could be different. The speed of time could change. A digital mind could experience 1,000 years of thought in a single minute of our time. Or it could slow things down, exploring one moment for what feels like a lifetime. They would become masters of their own experience. This freedom creates a deep responsibility. Who controls the simulation? Who sets the rules for these digital worlds? A person in control of the simulation would have the power of a god over its inhabitants. This is a new kind of power and a new kind of danger. Digital minds could also connect directly. They could share thoughts, memories, and feelings instantly. Imagine two minds merging to solve a problem, then separating again. This would create new forms of relationships and communities. It would be a new kind of society. But what happens if a digital mind is trapped? If it runs on a computer owned by someone else, can it be turned off? Does a copy of a person have the same rights as the original? These are not just tech questions. They are questions about what it means to be free. The technology also allows for something incredible: the exploration of consciousness itself. By changing the code of a simulated brain, we could learn how feelings, ideas, and self-awareness actually work. We could solve the greatest mystery in the universe. What is the mind? We could find the exact patterns that create joy, or sadness, or creativity. We could remove fear. We could enhance intelligence. This power to edit the mind is profound. It could end suffering. It could also erase what makes us human. This path leads to a future where humanity splits. Some might choose to remain biological. Others will transition into a purely digital existence. The two groups might drift apart, becoming so different they can no longer understand each other. This is the ultimate promise and the ultimate risk of wiring the void. It is the chance to overcome our physical limits, to explore reality, and to become the architects of our own evolution. The question is not just if we can do it. The question is what we will become if we do.